I will always treasure having this. And no, you'll never see this on eBay, at least for not while I'm still alive. Hey guys, thanks for clicking on my latest video. I know I don't do very many YouTube videos. Hopefully someday I will. We all know what I'm here to talk about today, and of course, I have to wear my favourite Marvel shirt, Avengers Infinity War. So today is November the 13th, 2018. Stan Lee, I woke up to hearing Stan Lee passing away, and the second I heard it, I believed it. It felt a lot more real as I got my phone out and I'm just looking at all these Facebook posts and all these Instagram posts about it. Seeing a lot of friends of mine who have met Stan Lee at Oz Comic Con and Supernova, which are our two biggest conventions here in Australia. I haven't really planned making this, obviously, but I just have a lot I do want to talk about. We all know Stan Lee for creating some of our greatest heroes like Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, the X-Men, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four. Pure genius this guy had at the time creating all of these, because he never thought any of these heroes would get the reception that it got, especially back in the 60s. I'm filming this video outside just because when I reflect on people's deaths, I usually do it better when I'm outside. So I just want to say, like, Stan Lee's a very, very inspirational man. And I just loved hearing his voice when I saw him at panels. He definitely was not ready to die yet. I know he wasn't afraid of dying. I remember one time I saw an interview he had with, who was it? I can't remember who it was. Oh, yeah, Larry King. He told Larry King he wasn't afraid to die. But I also knew when he went to Supernova, like last year in Adelaide, I'm actually surprised he came to Adelaide. Like, you know, he's been to Australia 3 times. He only planned on it ever going once. He was always working. He just never ever threw in the towel for anything he wanted to do, for the most part. He wanted to keep working. I remember I went to his panel last year. I didn't meet him at Supernova Adelaide because I have that perfect memory I have of when I met him, which I'll get to, in 2014. He said he was like still creating a new comic book superhero, and he said, I can't wait to reveal it to you because no one else has done it. He was still planning to work, and I was very well aware that he was very ill in the last year. I saw those videos and those photos of him looking very, very tired and weak and almost falling asleep at that convention in the States somewhere. I can't remember where it is. If you know where it is, you can feel free to comment below. And I had a gut feeling that he probably was going to be leaving at some point, but he definitely had the strive to continue working, and just like, you know, and he loved all of his cameos he did in all of the movies. He's told a lot of great stories as well, like how he really, the comic book industry was very, very different in the 60s. And he really hated how the illustrators and a lot of people that worked for Marvel tried to tell him how to write comic books, and he hated that. He was very overwhelmed when he got the job of writing Captain America comics, because that was during World War II. But sometime after that, his passion for writing comics started to leave, and he didn't want to write comics anymore. And I always will remember that story of his wife, who passed away a couple of years ago. Joan said to him, look, if you're going to quit, you can quit, but at least write one story that you would like to write. And the worst that can happen, if you get fired anyway, who cares? You're quitting. So Stan Lee did it, and he created the Fantastic Four, and it became a success. And then he had the passion to write comic books again. Spider-Man, someone he worked with when he had the idea didn't like the idea, because nobody that were superheroes were teenagers unless they were sidekicks like Robin in Batman and Robin comic books, and the guy I worked with didn't like the idea. But Stan Lee snuck it in somewhere a few months later, and then it became a success. And the exact same guy ran up to him and said, "Hey, you know that Spider-Man idea we both liked? Let's make it a series." He's told really, really great stories like that. He had great character. He had great motivation. He's a very, very inspirational person. And I don't feel lucky that I've met him. I feel fortunate because I never thought he'd ever come to Australia, like I said. Like, I started attending conventions in 2012, and the very first Oz Comic Con was in Adelaide. About 3 months later, he went to Melbourne. Now, I'll tell you about that story first, because I met him in Melbourne, but it wasn't a pleasant experience. Nobody knew how many people was going to attend at this convention. It was badly organised. It was their second con. There was people everywhere. Things weren't set up properly. Staff were not... Some staff were rude and some staff were just not organising things properly, and it was a bit of a disaster. I could not meet Stan Lee for a photo. I met him for an autograph, but that was like a 4-hour wait. Luckily for me, I made a new friend during that period of time as I was sitting down for 3 hours waiting. And I finally got 2 autographs. One of them is what you saw at the start of the video, that Avengers poster that I've got framed, which I'll always treasure. I freaking love that movie. And I got this X-Men comic book signed. It was just a quick high and buy, and that's all it really was. So, but then, a couple of years later, I met him in 2014. About 2 or 3 years later, he gets announced for a guest at Supernova in Sydney, and I've never been to a Sydney con, so I decided to go. I bought the Excelsior ticket so I could go through the quick lines. I got through pretty quickly. I met him the Saturday for an autograph. I waited in line, and the line went for about nearly 2 hours for his autograph I got later on. I got an Avengers book signed. But here's the awesome story I have. And I kind of feel like I'm a little bit overtelling this story because I've told so many people, but here and now I'm going to share it with you guys here. So what happened was, I was in line. Luckily, I bumped into a few people I know from Melbourne. And we were lining up, and all of a sudden, we did notice, because we were checking the schedules of when Stan Lee was going to be appearing at certain times of the day, and the line all of a sudden started moving, and the time schedule didn't start yet. And we're wondering, what's going on? Why is the line going like early? And all of a sudden, one of the Supernova staff actually overheard us saying that. And she said, well, we actually sat Stan down in the photo area, and we asked him if he wanted to have a coffee or something. And he said, no, there's a lot of fans lining up. How about we just, start now? And they're like, oh, Stan, you're awesome. And he said, yeah, I know. Oh, we laughed. That was so funny. Because Stan is awesome. So anyway, the line went pretty quickly for the photo. Like I said, I was in the Excelsior line. I was in the fast line, the VIP line. And I was wearing my Shield Agent costume. And I was literally walking up to him, going to him like this. He looked at me and he went, attaboy. And I asked his permission, because I know he's, he does look, when you meet him in person, he actually does look kind of frail more than when you see him on a TV screen. I asked his permission if I could shake his hand, and he said, of course. And you probably saw the thumbnail, but there's my photo with him there. And I look so goddamn happy. I mean, I left that, I went up to my friend, my hand was shaking. And I touched it, I'm like, I'm shaking. And she's like, I can tell. Perfect memory. And when they announced him for Supernova Adelaide, and I knew that he probably would be very tired, I decided not to meet him, but I did go to his panel. And Stan wasn't really allowed to shake anyone's hands anyway, I think because he's getting older and he's, probably just didn't feel comfortable shaking people's hand. I was like, what, I've got that perfect memory, I don't need to do that again. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, like, situations like this when you escape from reality and you watch some of your favourite shows, your favourite movies, and you escape from reality, and you're so thankful for that. Like, I remember when I was in high school, I was made fun of for liking things like Dragon Ball Z and liking X-Men movies. I loved the X-Men. I loved the first two X-Men movies when I was in high school, and people made fun of me for watching stuff like that. And I used to look back on those times feeling very sad that just because I like something that's different, just because I'm not into sports or things like that, and I like things like this, and people make fun of me. I used to look back on those memories really feeling so sad. But now that I attend things like this, like conventions and doing cosplaying and meeting famous people like this, and how much fun I have, I look back on those times just laughing about it, and I'm just like, well, you know what? Everything's pretty cool now. Liking things like this is not a bad thing. There's not a day I go by when I'm out and about, when I'm at work or something like that, and I don't see somebody wearing like a Spider-Man shirt or a Batman shirt or anything that's got to do with anime. And going to conventions and just seeing all these people just having fun doing cosplay and stuff like that. I kind of look back on those times just thinking, Stan Lee's one of those reasons why I look back on memories like that. And as a fan, I can't even get the words together because it's just so many fans out there, like, you know, really are very thankful for what Stan has done for us. This is a big day to say goodbye to a legend like Stan. This kind of feels like looking back and looking at documentaries of how Tupac and Biggie were big influential people in the hip-hop community and how they made hip-hop a really, really awesome thing again. And when they passed away, people were like, wow. I don't really want to say much more. I've just created this video, I wouldn't say as a tribute, just to make people understand how awesome I thought Stan Lee was. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people, this is a very sad day for a lot of people. It certainly is for me. Like, I had plans today to do a few things, and now I'm going to just relax at home. And, you know what, I think I'm probably going to watch a couple of Marvel movies tonight. I still haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. I planned on watching it last night, and I was like, nah, I'm too tired, and now I hear this news, and I'm like, well, maybe I should watch it today. I haven't watched Infinity War enough times, but yeah, I've watched it so many times. But yeah, guys, I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing at least 2 more Stan Lee cameo appearances, and then that's going to be it. And I just want to say thanks for watching. Give me any of your comments down below if you have anything you'd like to share with me, if you've met Stan Lee or just anything in general about him. There's a fly. And yeah, anyway guys, let's also not forget some of the special lines that we all shared. Enough said. Avengers Assemble. Excelsior. And with great power comes great responsibility. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. I love having this guy in my room too. Enough said.